Yo, my name is Bradley Aston and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, then stick around, see what we have to offer and consider subscribing. It really does help. Today I want to talk to you about how to light an interview scenario in a controlled environment. Now this is very different than showing you how to light it in an outdoor scenario or with open windows. I'm currently in my studio, which is at night time at the moment, and I have the blind down at the back because I have a security light that comes on every now and again. I have full control over all the lights in the room. This is ideal circumstances really that you want to be working in. So diving straight in, what we want to light first or expose for first is our practical lights. This can be LED strips like I have here, or it can be computer screens, TV screens, window light, natural ambient light in the room. Whatever it is, I want you to expose for that first. So set up your camera, get your framing right, figure out where you want that person to sit, and then just expose your camera for the ambient light in the room. Get that dialed in so you can get an idea of your base exposure, and we're going to build it up from there. Now, if the ambient light in the room is a little bit dark, so in the studio all I've got is some LED strips, a light above the computer screen and a lamp in the corner that's just above a sign. For me, it's a little bit dark, so all I've done is got a light and just blasted it up at the ceiling for it to bounce back across the whole room and just raise the exposure just a little bit, just to make it a bit more of a balanced image so it's not as dark and as noisy in the corners. Okay, so next up, what we want to do is separate your subject from the background. Really easy, we're going to set up a rim light. Now, with a rim light, it really is personal preference whether you go for a hard light source or a soft light source. I know people that use soft boxes to give it a bit more of a softer look and create a bit more of a natural look. For me, with me being in such a colourful room anyway, I like to have an RGB light just above, behind my head, and I like to use it to match the colours in the room as well. A good tip for your hair light is to match a practical light, ideally. So if you've got a light in the back that's a warm colour temperature, if you can get your key light to match that colour temperature, it's really going to sell the look, bring it all together, and the person watching your video then isn't going to think there's a light set up above your head. They're going to think that light source is coming from your practical light and isn't a separate light that's already set up. Next is your most important light source. It's your key light. Now, the important thing to have with a key light is two things. You need it to be powerful and you need it to be soft. The softer you can get it, the better, and the closer you can get it to your subject, the better, because it's going to be nice and soft on the skin and you're going to get a nice fall off around the face. Now this is where you're going to set the exposure. You want to make sure that the brightest part of your image is the subject without it going overexposed. So that's why we expose for the background first, to make sure that that's all nice and level, and then we bring in the key light afterwards so you have full control over how bright your subject is compared to your background. Now the reason we want a nice bright one is because if you're outside or you're competing with sunlight, obviously that's extremely harsh and extremely bright. You want to make sure that you've got a light that can compete with that. Now luckily in the studio, everything's relatively dark. In fact, it's stupid dark. It's pitch black near enough when everything's off. Now I'm using the Godox SL60W, and for in the studio, that's perfect. But I have found that when I'm out and about and I'm shooting outdoors, I do need something just a little bit brighter. Ideally, where you want that key light is a 45-degree angle to the front of your subject. So I'm looking at the camera here, and my key light is just here off my shoulder, upwards facing down on me, and that gives you the most flattering light. And then with your hair light, what you want to do is have it on the opposite side, just above your opposite shoulder, again up and facing down, just to give that bit of an edge light along this shoulder, separating you from the background. Now, like I say, once you've got everything set up, it is all down to personal taste and personal preference, how you want your image to look, whether you want to bring your light further round and have a bit more of an even light across the face, or whether you want to bring it more this way and have a bit more shadow on this side of the face. It really is up to you. But that's the basics on how to light a interview style / YouTube studio scenario in a controlled environment. Now, if you found this video interesting or helpful in any way, shape or form, then consider subscribing just down below and click on that bell notification as well so you can be here for next week's video and every other week after that. I want to help photographers that are starting off, filmmakers that are starting off, people who want to go from part-time into full-time careers, even photographers that want to get into filmmaking. That's who these videos are designed for. So if that's you and you think you can relate to that in any way, shape or form, then like I say, feel free to subscribe, click on the bell notification, give this video a big fat thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.